Now we get to talk a little high school football, give you a preview of what's going to be happening this week here on the South Plains. And Stephen Orr, West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard Show, back with us. Stephen, good morning. How are you?
Well, I was waiting to find out what every modern man should know because I'm not sure I'm modern.
Well, one of them is you have to cry a lot.
I'm out.
Like every day.
Out.
Like just shed a tear every single day.
Well, I did just a minute ago when you hung up on me.
Yeah, well, that was Jody. That was,
Come on, Jody.
Yeah, I know, right? That's just that's what you do, you know. You
How
just
long
have
have you been doing this?
I don't know. Stephen, how are you, man?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Doing well. We got some. Looks like we got some pretty good games going on this week.
Well, we do, and you know, if you've been outside this morning yet, got a little hint of cool. Not supposed to get into the 70s till around lunchtime today. That means fall, and we've got some good games. Of course, this is what we affectionately call the Scoreboard Show Dead Week, with the majority of districts, not all, but the majority, taking the night off before they start their district campaign next week. But that doesn't mean that there aren't some good football games. There weren't some good football games. There was a couple played last night involving Lubbock teams, one being Lubbock High hosting Borger. Unfortunately, didn't turn out too well for them as Lubbock continues to be plagued by turnovers, and Borger wins that one handily going away. And then also Lubbock Cooper goes into three. They were 3-1 on the night. They go in to take on Amarillo Caprock, and they roll them. So two games that went on last night. A few games taking place tonight. Lubbock Coronado will host Hobbs, New Mexico. Coronado's at 2-3 on the year, and they're going to take on a Hobbs team that I think they should be able to handle pretty easily. Then another one is Friendship hosting Clovis, New Mexico. And Friendship, how about this, a 2-game losing streak? Not something that Tigers fans or players are used to, and
no.
They really need to rally the troops. And Clovis is a traditionally good football team, and so, you know, it's not like they got a cupcake coming in, but I do look for them to rebound and get back in the win column there. On that one, you've got Plainview taking on Hereford. Plainview lost a heartbreaker to Dumas last week, 17-14. Plainview's had some problems with injuries, especially losing their starting quarterback. So they've struggled a little bit on offense. They were pretty effective early in the year, but they're going to have to get some offensive production, taking on a Hereford team that's a bit improved from the past. You've got San Angelo Lakeview coming in to take on Lubbock Estacada, and I'm still waiting for the Estacada offense to kick in and be what we're used to seeing out of a Matadors team, and they've just not been able to get that put together this year. But and Lakeview is a pretty decent team. That ought to be a pretty good football game there at Lowry. Drop down into some of the lower classifications. Freona comes in to take on Lubbock Roosevelt. Roosevelt's seeing some success. They've won 2 games in a row now after beating Trinity Christian there in Lubbock, and then beat Floydada last week 32-6. So they've had some success, and they've looked pretty good. They've put up some points. In the last 2 games, they put up a total of 105 points. So that offense is clicking, and they're going to look to keep that going against a Freona team that, quite frankly, struggles a little bit. So that could be a really good opportunity for Roosevelt to leave tonight with a 3-game winning streak and ready for that district campaign. So pretty good game for them. Smyer and Sundown should be another really good game. Oh, I skipped one. And it's going to be one of our bigger games. Shallowater taking on Snyder. If you recall, earlier in the year, Shallowater had to go to overtime to beat Midland Greenwood. Well, Snyder beat Greenwood last week 42-12.
Wow.
And so that could be a really good ball game, and just see if Snyder can, you know, they were not very good. Snyder was not very good last year, and they played in one of the tougher districts in the state, but their record was not that great. But they really seem to be putting something together, and Shallowater, a team that, quite frankly, to me seems like maybe they've stepped back towards the pack just a little bit. It doesn't mean they're not a good team and a really good team, but they're not quite as invincible as they have been, so that could be a really good ball game. And like we encourage every year, you know, if you're off this week, if you have the open week, it's a great opportunity to get out and catch some 6-man games, because there's a lot of 6-man games going on in the area, and there's some really good games too. One of them is Happy taking on Kroll. Kroll is the defending state champion. Happy I think, made it to the quarterfinals last year, and Happy just reloaded. So that ought to be a really fine game played up at Happy tonight. You've got Petersburg hosting Whiteface, Spur taking on Anton. Anton was a contender in their district last year, and Spur's always good. And then you've got Valley and Meadow, and that's two teams that we talk about in six-man every year as far as deep playoff runs and a lot of tradition there. So, and they'll be over at Meadow. So that's a few good six-man games to get out and go and see.
Visiting with Stephen Orr, West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard Show. Stephen, if people do have a free night tonight and they're looking to go to one or two games, maybe the Shallow Water game is one you might be interested in, but what are some other games that people really need to go and check out?
Well, I'm going to say, like you said, Shallow Water hosting Snyder, that's a game right there handy that ought to be a really good game. I think Clovis and Friendship should be a pretty good game to go and see. And then again, if you can get to Happy to go see Happy and Kroll, or make the trip out to Meadow to watch Valley and Meadow play, that's a couple of really good six-man games. And the six-man game is so much fun to watch. It's different. It's just a little bit different, smaller field, but fewer players. And as a matter of fact, one of the things we do on the scoreboard show is we have our rules of the game, and I've been doing that every week, and we're kind of moving over and focusing on the differences between 6-man and 11-man, and some of them are obvious, but there's some really interesting rules in 6-man football, and we're talking about that. But go out and watch a game because they're really exciting, and it's just a different brand of football, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
and they usually put up a lot of points as well.
Yeah, the defense, when you hold somebody to 35 points and feel good about your night,
it's like a Texas Tech Baylor game.
Big 12 football.
Yeah, exactly. Big 12 football right there. Stephen Orr, West Texas Friday Night Scoreboard Show, which you can hear this evening, 10 p.m. to midnight here on KFYO. Stephen, thank you very much as always.
All right, Chad, and I'll stay tuned to see if I am a modern man.
All right. Please. You never know. 27 things that make you a modern man now. I don't think I don't know. Some of them are pretty iffy. Thanks, Stephen.
Hey, have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.